Hi, you guys. Oh my gosh. You guys are awesome. I've just been receiving a bunch of messages from you guys letting me know how helpful this group is and just how much information you are gaining out of it. So that's the whole purpose of it. So thank you for letting me know that. And today I want to take a few minutes. I'm going to try to make this as short as I can to just share a little bit more about my story, because all the other videos have been information about coaching, getting objections and questions answered. And so I haven't really dug in to take the time to just share my story on how I became a Beachbody coach and a little bit about my life prior to becoming a Beachbody coach. And I've already said that I was a teacher, and so you already know that part. So first, I am married. I've been married we just celebrated our 10-year anniversary, and we met when I was in high school and he was in college. So we've actually been together 14 years, and he's just the love of my life and my best friend. Those of you who follow me on social media, I post about him all the time. He's usually in my workout videos. And so that's a little bit about me. We live here in Grand Prairie, Texas, which is right outside of Dallas. So I usually say Dallas because most people don't know what Grand Prairie is. And we have a fur baby. Her name is Phoebe. And again, if you follow me on social media or Snapchat, you probably see her and know who she is. We've had her for 10 years now. Okay, so prior to Beachbody, I was an elementary school teacher. I taught kindergarten for 2 years, and I taught first grade for 1 year. And honestly, in my mind, I was going to be a teacher for the rest of my life, right? I had checked off all the boxes. I went to high school. I was the first person in my family to go to high school and to graduate from high school. Actually, not the first person to go to high school. My brother went before me, but he didn't graduate. Then he went back, got his GED. So I was the first person to graduate from high school in my entire family. And I was the first person to go to college and graduate from college. So those boxes were checked. I started my career as a teacher. And so in my mind, you guys, I had already accomplished everything I wanted to accomplish in life, right? I had married to an amazing guy. I had a career. And for me, that was it. I stopped dreaming. I had no goals. I had no ambitions. I had no further dreams. For me, I was going to be a teacher for, I'm bad at math, but maybe like 30 years or something, 25, 30 years, and I was going to retire. And at that time, I didn't think there was anything wrong with that, because that's what everybody else does, right? Everybody goes to work, or they get the career, and then they retire, and then that's it. And my life was okay, or so I thought it was okay. And so I started my teaching career, and I noticed that as soon as I would wake up, I would already be thinking about 3 p.m. So the little ones would go home. And even though I loved them and I missed them and I loved seeing their little faces in the morning come in, and I loved seeing their growth, and I loved that I knew I was molding them and that I knew I was making such a big difference in their lives. I really did. And I do truly miss them. But being a teacher is hard, you guys. It's really hard. If there's any teachers on this, watching this, I bow down to you, because it is not an easy career. It's very fulfilling, but it's very hard and it's a lot of work, especially if you care and you're a good teacher. So I found myself just thinking about 3 p.m. I found myself thinking about Fridays and happy hour and winter break and spring break and summer break. And to me, that was normal at the time, because everyone on social media and then all my other colleagues, my teacher colleagues, right? Everyone just complained about their jobs and talked about the weekends and talked about how much they didn't like going to work. And so in my mind, like, well, this must be normal. Like, this is normal. I'm exhausted. Everyone else is exhausted. I'm ready for Friday. Everyone else is ready for Friday. I am ready for spring break. I'm ready for the next break. Everyone's always ready for the next break. And so I thought that was normal. And you guys, I was living life on autopilot. That's living life on autopilot. That's not truly living. That's just doing enough every day to get to the next day, to just coast. And now that I go back and see that, it is so sad that I was living that way. At the time, I didn't notice, but now that I'm living a different life, I so notice that, and I so can see that. And so like I mentioned in a lot of my videos, I have actually got familiar with Beachbody a long time ago, like in 2009 or 2008 with P90X and Insanity and Turbo Fire and Shakeology. So I was not a stranger to Beachbody. But around 2010, people started to approach me, other coaches in the network started to approach me to ask me if I wanted to become a coach on their team because they thought I would make an amazing coach because I was already basically a coach using the products and talking about them on social media. And I always said no. I said no because I was a full-time teacher and I was barely just trying to stay above water. And so my biggest objection was always time. And then again, I was never in a group like this for me to understand exactly what coaching was. I just thought it was something that was going to take so much of my time. I thought completely different. I didn't know that all it required was for me to work out, to use the products, to share about them, which I was already doing, and then to just help others in virtual groups. Had I known that, I would have joined so much sooner. But I started to get asked to become a coach, and I kept saying no. I never even took the time to look into it. I really didn't even know what a coach was. But around my second year of teaching, I think that was my sign. Someone shared a video of the person that brought me into this business. Her name is Danielle Natoni, aka Fit and Funky. If you guys follow her, she always says that. So every time I say her name, I say it that way. And I just started to follow her and I thought she was cool. Like just something about her drew me to her. I didn't know what. I was just like, I just thought she was cool. She was rad. She has an amazing body. Her little videos, workout videos of the day were awesome. And so I'm like, oh, I like this chick. I'm going to follow her. So I followed her for about a year or so. And then one day out of the blue, she just makes a post that she was looking for coaches on her team. At this time, I was already into my second year as a teacher. And so I thought, okay, I already have a year under my belt, so I didn't feel as overwhelmed like I did my first year as a teacher. And so summer was coming up and I said, what the heck? Everyone keeps asking me this. Beachbody has been in my life for so long. Obviously, God or the universe keeps throwing Beachbody and, at me. It keeps coming up. So let me just see what this is. What do I have to lose? And so on April 21st, 2013, I joined as a Beachbody coach. And a few months after that, summer came, and that's whenever I started to invest more time into it. And at first, it was just a fun hobby, you guys. Again, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I just thought it would be fun to do in the summer and not have to teach summer school. And in my mind, I was like, if I could make some extra cash on the side and not have to teach summer school, well, then that's going to be a win-win for us, right? To help pay for some debt. Because my husband and I were knees deep in debt, credit card debt, student loan debt. We got married very young. We made some really dumb financial decisions. Everything went on a credit card, and we both have student loan debt. Those are not fun to have. So anyways, I thought any little money I could make to help, pay some off that debt, cool, I'll try it. And so it was just a fun hobby during the summer. But you guys, the more I started to do it, the more I started to love it. It is just so fulfilling to start to get messages from people that were in my weight loss bootcamp groups to message me out of the blue and just thank me so much for how much I had helped them, even though they're the ones doing all the work, right? They're the ones working out, drinking their shakes, getting awesome results. I'm doing this much as far as motivating them and inspiring them and helping them. It was just so fulfilling of when those first messages started to roll around. And even people who weren't even in my boot camp groups, even people who were just watching me on social media, I would get random messages from people that I've never heard of before. And they would tell me like, because of you, I worked out today, or because of you, I joined the gym again, or because of you, I started to eat clean. Like you're motivating me, you inspire me. And I'm like, wow, like this is crazy. Like, this is so crazy that all I do is show up on social media and I post about me, like my workout, what's helping me, and it helps me become, stay accountable too. I post, what I eat, and I post motivation. I post if I'm struggling. I post what I've struggled with in the past. I post what has not worked for me, what worked for me. And that inspires and motivates others. And that to me was mind blowing. And it was so fulfilling. And you kind of get addicted. Once people start to message you and once you are adding all this value to people's lives, that becomes addicting. And so I started to invest a little bit more time and a little bit more time into my business, still being a full-time teacher. But I was just willing to invest more time because I started to see the bigger picture. I started to love what I was doing, and I wanted more. I wanted more people to message me. I wanted to change more lives. I just wanted to keep feeling that over and over and over again. And it was about maybe 5 months into the business that I was sold. I saw the bigger picture. I knew this was something huge. I knew that if I busted my butt and if I worked hard, I could one day make Beachbody my full-time career, have the freedom to work from home, design my own life, stop working to build someone else's dreams and start working to build my own dreams. Like what truly, truly gave me joy and gave me happiness. And don't get me wrong, being a teacher gave me joy and it gave me happiness, but this was just so much more different. Like being a teacher, I wasn't passionate about it. I loved it and it brought me joy, but Beachbody coaching, I was passionate. I was dreaming. I was setting goals. I was this person who had ambitions now. Like, who is this person? As a teacher, I was coasting. As a teacher, that was it. As a Beachbody coach, I just, every time, every week, every month, I wanted more and I wanted more goals, and I would hit those goals and I would want to achieve more goals, and I would help 10 people one month. The next month, I wanted to help 20 people. Like I just became full of life, full of goals, full of ambition. And it was about 5 months later that I said, maybe I can just work really hard and one day I'll leave my teaching job. Right? That was my thought. Still not really knowing when I could make that possible, if I could make that possible. But I had for once like thought about it, and I even told my husband, and he was like, I mean, you could if you wanted to. He didn't really believe. He's very supportive. He's the most supportive, my number one fan, my number one supporter. But, he was just still a little iffy about this whole thing or whatever. He knew it made me happy, so he was supportive, and he supported me all the way. And I got to work. And I hustled and I grind and I put in the time. And you guys, 15 months total from the day I signed up, April 21st, 2013, 15 months later, I officially called my principal and resigned. And it was not an easy decision. I was happy, but I had all these emotions. I was sad because I wasn't going to see my little ones anymore. I had mixed emotions just because some people were really happy for me, and then other people are like, are you crazy? You're leaving your career. You're leaving something that is set. You have a set income for a passion of yours. And I'm like, yeah. And so I had all these mixed feelings. Some days I woke up thinking I've made the best decision of my life. Other times I woke up thinking I made the worst decision of my life. It was just a scary, scary time. You guys, making leaps of faith are scary. But once I made it, I said, I'm never looking back. I made this leap of faith and I'm never looking back, because the way I thought about it, I made a leap of faith when I first joined Beachbody, and it changed my life. And now I'm making another leap of faith, and I know it's also going to change my life. So again, I got to grind, I got to hustle, because at the time when I made the decision, I was more or less supplementing my teacher income, but I just wanted to be sure, I wanted to be sure this was going to work, and it was scary. We had a new mortgage and, so much on the line. And so I started to work really hard. And I've never looked back, guys. Now it's been a total of 3 years that I've been a coach, 2 years that I've been working this business completely full time. Now I can say just how blessed we are that we are tripling my teacher's salary. We take trips all the time because of Beachbody. Before Beachbody, we could not afford trips. We never went on trips. We went on one trip our whole time we were married. And that's just because we didn't have the money and we didn't want to keep piling up our credit card debt. And so now we take trips. And we just got back from Punta Cana celebrating 10-year anniversary. We just got back from Nashville on our annual Beachbody Summit trip. We just got back from a cruise. We took a cruise in April, a Beachbody cruise to the Caribbean that Beachbody paid for. We are going to San Diego in October, another exclusive trip that Beachbody is going to pay for because we earned it. And so now we're just living this life that we never thought was possible. I get to decide my days. I get to determine when I want to work, how much time I want to work. I get to determine where I want to work. That's another amazing thing about this business. It's so virtual. Like, it's 99% run on social media. And so if I want to go pick up and go visit my mom who lives an hour and a half away, I can. And I can go and I can work from my phone if I want to, or I just enjoy being there with her. If I want to work, when we were at an anniversary, I worked from my phone, not because I had to, because I want to, because I love checking in with my team, because I love to change people's lives, and I love what I do, and it never feels like work to me. It never does, which can become a problem because then I can just work all day and my husband has to come in here and be like, okay, turn it off. And that's just because I just love what I do. And so, lost my train of thought there. And so it's just a blessing that I get to design this life and determine and work for my dreams, right? I'm not tied down to a 9 to 5. I'm not tied down to someone else's schedule, someone else's dreams. I determine my income. I determine my future. I determine how and when and with who I want to spend my days. And that is just such a blessing. And it all started with a tiny leap of faith that I just said, what the heck? I'll just try this, right? Like, Beachbody keeps flying at me. Fine, I'll see what it's about. And I also got to that point because I just kept thinking, okay, Leticia, the only way you're ever going to find out if this is a real deal, what this is if you do it, right? I get so many messages from people saying, I want to sign up as a coach, but I'm kind of scared because what if it doesn't work out? How will you ever find out if you don't give it a try? If you don't try it. Like, I think it's scarier and more sad to live in the what ifs, right? Like 10 years down the road, you're like, man, what if I would have joined that Beachbody thing? What if it would have worked for me? Don't live in the what ifs, and that's why I finally decided to join. I'm like, I'm not going to live in the what ifs. The only way I'm going to find out this is going to work for me is if I try. And you guys, join our team. Your life is going to change. Your life is going to improve. And that's going to be because you're going to improve physically. You're going to be using the product. So you're going to lose weight. You're going to get fit. You're going to get healthier. And then you're going to be surrounded by a group of people, by Team Living Fit, who we are a family. And so you're going to have all this love and all this support. So whether this business works or doesn't work, your life is going to improve. So in my eyes, it's a win-win. One of the most grateful moments I've had in this business was about a year ago when my grandma passed away. And I was already working this business full-time. And my mom was devastated, of course. And I got to just pick up and go. And I went and stayed the whole week with my mom so she wouldn't be alone. Because during the day, my dad goes to work and the kids are grown up. So I went and I just stayed with her for a week so she can have someone there so she wouldn't be by herself. And I was still able to work my business from my phone and my laptop. I can remember being so grateful for this business opportunity, for the opportunity to have the freedom to do that. Had I been a teacher, I may have been able to do that, but I would have had to ask for time off. I would have had to find a substitute teacher. I would have had to create lesson plans. It's just not as easy to pick up and go when you're tied down to a 9 to 5, when someone else determines when you can be off and when you can't. And so I just remember that, and I cherish that moment because I know it meant a lot for my mom for me to be there. And she just kept asking, are you sure this is fine? I'm like, Mom, this is okay. Like, I want to be here for you. just truly meant the world to me. And every day I'm reminded just how grateful I am of this business. Like the other day, I was walking Phoebe. Then after I work out, I take her on a walk. And I was walking and I was listening to personal development during those 20, 30 minutes. I'm always trying to listen to personal development. I'm always trying to better myself as a person, as a leader. Just watching the cars pass by, and I just kept thinking, most likely they were on their way to work, and I just kept thinking most likely they're going to a job that they hate, or they're going to a job that they're just indifferent about. They're going to their job and they're just going to do enough to get by, and they're going to be just thinking of Friday, of the weekend to get here so that they don't have to be at their job. And again, that was a moment where I just felt so grateful, because I remember being in that situation. No, I never hated my job, but I for sure was just doing enough to get by, to get to Friday, to get to the next holiday. And I just stopped, and I then and there thanked God for putting this opportunity in front of me. Even though I kept pushing it away, he kept putting it back in front of me. So there's just every day I'm reminded of how blessed I am and how grateful I am that this business was put into my life, was put into my path, and that I actually made that leap of faith to sign up and to see what it was all about, because my life would be completely different right now. I share something with you guys that I haven't even shared publicly on social media, but it's huge. So on my dream board, I have that I want to retire my husband, and we are well on our way to be able to accomplish that pretty soon, really soon. But another goal on my dream board is to retire my mom. My mom has worked ever since I can remember, and she works jobs that are super hard on her. Her most recent job, she was a housekeeper for a hotel, and the owners of the hotel treated her like crap. They are awful to their employees. They can care less about their employees, and I just hated that she had to go to this job. She would tell me how they would treat her and treat everyone, and she was almost in tears. And not only that, but you know, my mom is in her mid-50s and she's still very healthy and very young, but not as young and not as healthy as she used to be. And she was just time, her feet hurt another time, her back hurt another time, and then just these awful people that she had to put up with. And I put it on my dream board to bring her home, because she'd worked hard enough for us all her life. Dreams was to bring her home, just like I want to bring my husband home. So about 6 months ago, she got laid off. And at first she was stressing about it. And I just said, Mom, just don't go back to work. Don't go back to work. And every single week I've been able to send her money to keep her home. And it just brings me so much joy that because of Beachbody, I'm able to do that. Without Beachbody, that would not been possible. That would not been possible to be able to do. And she thanks me every time that and I haven't made that publicly on social media. So just I haven't found a way to express myself. I sometimes, guys, this business has done so much for me that literally sometimes I cannot find the words to express myself. Like I can't even. Like how do you even start to explain the feeling that you feel to know that I was able to bring my mom home and I'm able to support her financially, and she doesn't have to worry about going to have to work for awful people. So it's hard to explain sometimes. It's hard to put to words sometimes just how blessed and how much this business has changed our lives. I could sit here and just think of a million ways, but every single day, every single morning when I wake up, that's the first thing I do. I thank God for another day, and I thank God for putting Beachbody into my life. And every single night when I go to bed, I thank God again for this blessing, for this opportunity. Because without it, I couldn't have brought my mom home. Without it, like right now, she's at home and she doesn't have to worry about working for awful people, and you know, she can finally just relax and enjoy her life more and not have to worry about always taking care of others. That's all she's done all her life. I want to take care of her now, and it just feels so amazing to be able to do that. Like you just don't understand. And whenever I get to bring my husband home, like it's going to be so surreal to have him here at home, and we're gonna build this business together, and we're just it's just going to be a freaking dream come true, you guys. It all started with signing up one day. So I can sit here and ramble on and on and on about just how much my life has changed, but I just wanted to share that piece with you. I wanted to share a little bit of that with you, and I'm sorry if I was just like all over the place, but again, since I find it hard to find the words to just express my gratitude for this business, and express how much my life has changed and how blessed we are that I get to live a dream every single day. I get to wake up and work my passion. Like, my job is my passion, which is, gosh, it's just so incredible and so amazing. So you guys, thanks for being in this group. Again, I hope this is helpful. I hope the information videos have been helpful. Again, this is a safe zone. Feel free to ask questions. Feel free to voice your concerns, just your thoughts. And I truly, truly hope that I will be welcoming a lot of you into our team, into Team Living Fit, because you guys, sometimes you just have to take that leap of faith and never look back. And you just never know where that leap of faith is going to take you. And you will never know until you take it. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great day.